everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. And today I thought I would show you, I've been playing with the Ringed with Nature bundle from the mini catalog, the July to December mini catalog. And I love it. It's got a hybrid embossing folder. So if you've never played with hybrid embossing folders, they are so much fun because they emboss and they cut out at the same time. So within the bundle, when you order the bundle, you get not only the stamp set and the dies, but you get the embossing folder that you can use with one of the dies. So I thought I would make a spanner fold card. So a spanner fold is one of my absolute favorites as far as fancy folds go. And so I thought I would use the Ringed with Nature and the beautiful designer series paper, as well as the I'm using some celebration items today, is the amazing phrasing, it's hard to say, stamp set that you can also get during celebration. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and I will start to show you how to make this banner or this spanner fold card. Let me just, there we go. All right. So I hope it's nice where you are. It's kind of a rainy day here where I live on Vancouver Island. So hopefully it's nice where you are. And maybe that's why, maybe you're out and about and you'll watch this on the replay. All right. So this is the Ringed with Nature bundle. So you get this great kind of eclectic stamp set. It's great for any season. It's got, you know, everything from Merry Christmas to Happy Anniversary and Get Well. So it's a great stamp set. Lots of really nice fonts and sentiments on it, as well as these great stamps that you can use. They're all 90%. So these images are actually smaller than what the stamps are. My favorite's this little house. And I've been playing a lot with these little toadstools, which are really fun. And then you also get these dies. So there are dies that will cut out from the designer series paper that you can coordinate with. And I'll show you that in just a minute. So the designer series paper is one of the items you can get for free during celebration. So you can cut out some rings, as well as you can use it to cut out some of the just extra pieces, leaves. This one's more holly for Christmas. This one is the top of a mushroom and also the bottom of an acorn. So there's the top. And then, of course, the mushroom, the stems for the mushrooms. So it's a really great set of dies. Then this is the die that you use with this great embossing folder. So the embossing folder will emboss rings, which is great. And then if you add in your dies, and that you just kind of have to kind of fit it until it fits. It will fit snug once you get it into place. Then you put your piece of cardstock, say if this is a piece of cardstock, in like this, run it through using the same platforms as you would when you were embossing, and you will end up with 5 pieces that look like this. So they are embossed and cut out, and they are 5 different sizes. Now, when I have extras, I just keep them in my card or in my stamp case. So I've got some that I cut out and haven't used in Evening Evergreen and Soft Suede. So there are 5 different sizes. I'm going to use one of them in Soft Suede. So I just love these embossing folders that are the hybrid embossing folders. So that's the bundle. So let me just take this over. And then the other thing I'm using is a great paper. This is the Rings of Love designer series paper. This is free. So if you bought the bundle, you would be able to choose this paper or anything else from the celebration catalog at the $60 level. Just so pretty. Hey, Darlene, welcome. So this is my little birds, are my absolute favorite. Just kind of watercolored. These are the tree rings that you can cut out with those dies. Just made a card with this. Just cut these out and put it on a card base. Just really simple. So just took them by paper snips and cut that out. These great trees, and then these are poinsettias. So really pretty paper. Again, this is available at the level 1. So in Canada, if you spent $60, you could choose this. Now I'm also using, my sentiments are coming from this amazing phrasing stamp set. This is a level 2 item. So if you spend $120, you'd be able to get this great set of sentiments. These are smaller than what the stamp sets are. So I'm going to use the Hey You Did It, I think is what I chose out of this one. Really great stamp set. Okay, let's start on this spanner fold card. I've got my pieces kind of cut so you don't have to see me doing all that cutting. Let me bring in my trimmer. So you will need your trimmer. So I've got a piece of cardstock. This is Poppy Parade, and I've cut it 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to start by scoring it at 4 1/4. So that's kind of your typical card base. And then what you're going to do is you are going to, I'm just going to put it this way. So you're going to cut it. You're going to cut 2 slits, or 2 lines, I guess, at 1 1/4. So put it in, and you're going to cut from this edge to the score line. So you can either cut from the top down to 4 1/4. So that's the score line. And then what you want to do is you're going to cut this side. So you want to cut it 1 1/4 on both sides. So I'm going to use the 1 1/4 mark on this other side. And again, down to use my mark at 1 1/4. Now, I don't have it in this trimmer, but if you took a strip of paper, cardstock, just a 1/8 inch strip, and put it underneath these measurements, you would actually be able to see them a little bit better. I find that it's a little hard to see, and I need to do that on this trimmer. So just a tip for you. I don't have it on either of these trimmers that I have here, but I don't have to do that. All right, so now you've got your card base. So you're going to take and just fold on the score line. And again, I'm folding into the raised line. This is the raised line, or into the mountain. And give it a good burnish with your bone folder. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do the card front first. I have gone ahead and cut out. So I've got 2 strips of designer series paper. And these are cut 1 inch by 4 inches. So they are going to go on there. And I've also got a piece of window sheet. I'm not sure you can actually see that. So that's a piece of window sheet. And I believe I've cut this. Yeah. So this is cut 1 inch by 5 1/4. So what you want to do is decide where you want. So what this card will do, it will open up and stand. So this middle piece kind of goes back, and this creates the attachment. So these 2 outside flaps will hold in place. And so you just have to decide where you want this. So you're going to use this to kind of adhere some extra pieces on. So I'm going to put this about 1 inch or so from the bottom. It's up to you where you put it. And I'm going to use Stampin' Seal. I just find Stampin' Seal is a little stronger than the liquid glue. I could use tear and tape adhesive. So I've just put little pieces of Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to adhere this. So I've only put them so that it adheres to each of these 2 flaps. This middle part is not adhered. So just apply your adhesive to the 2 flaps. And if it's easier for you to do, rather than put it on to your window sheet, just put little strips onto your cardstock, and then you'll know exactly where you have to put your so that it isn't on this middle flap, because you don't want that middle flap adhered. So now you can go ahead and you can use whatever adhesive you want. Adhere your pieces of designer series paper. Again, these are cut 1 inch by 4 inches, and they're going to just hide that window sheet. You could put another layer behind this if you wanted to. I've done that on occasion, but for today, I'm just going to adhere my designer series paper. So if you were going to use another mat behind the designer series paper, you probably only want to make it just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So there we go. All right, isn't this pretty paper? Gosh, it's just so stunning. There, just got that. Now I've cut a piece of basic white and I have embossed this. I don't have this embossing folder. I should do here. Yeah. So I'm using I think this is called Leaves or Falling Leaves. I'm going to look it up while I'm here because I didn't see this embossing. It's called Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. It's on page 53 of the catalog. I didn't see this embossing folder when I first looked in the catalog. It wasn't until I saw somebody made a card. I'm not sure if you can see the leaves. It's just so pretty. Hey, Alice, welcome. So I've gone ahead and I've cut a piece of basic white cardstock that is 3 inches by 4 inches. And this is going to go on this middle piece, my middle fold here. Actually, it needs to be, I realized I need to have it a little bit narrower. So it should be, I think, 2 3/4 by 4. I've cut it a little bit wide, so I'm just going to trim it. Just take 1/4 of an inch off. So 2 3/4 by 4 inches. Just so pretty. I think it's part of one of the fall suites that are in the catalog, which is why I probably missed it because I don't tend not to do a lot of fall cards. So there we go. We've got our embossed piece. Hey, Anita, welcome from Nova Scotia. All right, so we've got our fall or our leaf as embossed. Now, I pulled out because I said I always keep my extras. So I had some of these all cut. So I'm going to use one of those. I've cut some of these leaves that are in Parakeet Party. I'm not sure how many I'm going to use. So I've cut a couple of the leaves out of Parakeet Party. And I'm going to do some stamping in Poppy Parade. So I'm going to stamp. These are the flowers. So these little tiny flowers. They kind of match the flowers. So I'm stamping in Poppy Parade. And I've got this is the leaves that go behind it. Oof, I really made a mess of that. Just grab a baby wipe here. Just press hard. Remember, tap, tap, tap. I have to remind myself of that even. So let's, so this actually is kind of 2-step stamping. So it's going to put Poppy Parade or whatever color you're using as the center of my flower. So there we go. I've got my flower and I'm going to fussy cut that out. At the same time, I'm going to stamp my sentiment since I've got my ink out. So I'm going to stamp my hay on this. This is one of the banners from the Stylish Shapes banners. So I'm going to stamp hay on this. Yeah, fun. And then on this piece, because I'm going to fussy cut this out, I'm going to stamp You Did It in Parakeet Party. And I'm going to fussy cut that. There we go. All right. Close up my ink before I... Hey, Louise, welcome. All right. Get some of these out. So I'm going to take, and I'm just going to fussy cut around this. You could just stamp it on if you've want to put just a circle or a square or something. You can easily stamp this, but remember when you're fussy cutting, steer with your you're steering the paper, not with the scissors. So just I'm turning it with my left hand, so my paper hand. You might decide you're actually loving fussy cutting if you start to steer with this. Now I'm just going to take and cut this straight. If you watch me a lot, you know that I tend to fussy cut a lot of my sentiments. So I'm just going to, there we go. All right, so I've got my pieces. So my tree ring is going to go here. And I think I'm going to trim these and just make them leaves that are going to kind of just go behind my flowers. So you can just take, and these actually, you can cut these out and then stamp something on top. But this I'm just going to take and trim. Give them a haircut. All right, so there we go. We've got that. Let's see. I'm not sure if I want to use all of these or if I'm just going to use one of these. Okay, let's put that there. My leaf's kind of bent. This there. There we go, I think. Oh, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to use some liquid glue just to kind of put this on in place. Try just to get a little bit of liquid glue. Don't need a lot. Don't want to drop it. All right, so let's put that there. And we'll put this one, just little dots of liquid glue, just like that. And then I think I'll pop this up kind of in front of it, like that. So let me grab, got some mini Stampin' dimensionals. Yeah, I understand Alice being left-handed, although do you have left-handed scissors? I guess that may be the trick to this, but I understand being left-handed and trying to use right-handed tools is, my brother was left-handed and he always wanted to learn to knit, and my mother could never teach him how to knit when she taught me because it just was too hard. Okay, so there. Now I'm going to just put this, and again, I want to make sure that my tree ring only is adhered to my piece of window sheet. So I'm just going to take some Stampin' Seal, and I'm actually going to put it right on top of my window sheet so that I don't make a mistake and get it on the cardstock behind. So now I'm going to take, so I've cut this, I've cut an extra a banner out of Poppy Parade, and I'm going to cut it lengthways. So I like to put an extra mat on my banners, and so you can either cut this extra piece lengthways like I did, or the opposite way, so mine's going to be top and bottom, but you could easily cut it the other way and have it on each side. But I just kind of like to have a mat behind my banner, and I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue. I grabbed my silicone mat so that I don't get my glue all over my grid paper. So we'll just put that down like that. Oh, there we go, Alice. So you actually learned to do some things right-handed even though you're left-handed. Yeah, that probably is the way. Hey, Lynette, welcome. There we go. My brother really wasn't able to learn, even though my mom tried to teach him. Now, I'm just going to grab some of these. Let's see. I don't know if I do have some. Thought I hadn't got some pieces. Or some dimensionals. I knew I was running low. So I'm just putting dimensionals, and I'm putting them over top of the seam where my cut banner pieces are. It just helps. The glue is there, but this will just help to hold this in place. Now, if you don't want the dimensionals to show on the back like I did, you could just adhere it to the one side to this flap. Or you can cut another banner and put it on the back to hide your dimensionals if that really bothers you. I'm going to leave it for now. And now this piece that says you did it, this piece I'm going to trim because it's definitely not straight. Not that that's a problem, but okay. And then I'm going to take this and I am only going to adhere this with a dimensional to this one flap because I just want it to be underneath my hay and not on my card flap. So we will just take that and put right below there that says, hey, you did it. Okay. Now, what else shall I put on the card? I grabbed some of this Sweet Sorbet Baker's Twine. It comes in the pack of all of the new in colors. And this Sweet Sorbet is an awful lot like Poppy Parade. So I'm just going to take and wrap this. I'm wrapping it around my middle flap. And then I'm going to tie a bow just a couple of times. You could put other ribbon if you wanted to. Grab my scissors so I can cut this. So I'm just going to hopefully, okay, got gypped myself on the one side. So let me just, there we go. That's a little better. So Poppy Parade and Sweet Sorbet look an awful lot alike in some ways, not necessarily if they're right up against another, but you can kind of interchange some of the embellishments in this twine for sure. It definitely, you won't know that it's not Poppy Parade. Well, you might know it's not Poppy Parade, but anybody looking at it will not know. Oh gosh, I have got this not making it hard for me to tie a bow, and I kind of chip myself. All right, there we go. Try to get it even. Now, let me, okay, so these are the tweezers that come with the embossing kit. So they make a great tool for an extra finger on your to tie your bow. I usually often will use a glue dot if I'm struggling, but these tweezers are amazing. If you haven't seen the embossing kit, I actually think the kit is part of the same collection, although you can buy it separately, as that leaf fall leaf or leaf fall embossing folder that I showed you earlier. So you may have missed that one too. All right, there we go. So once you get your bow, you know, kind of how you want it, you can pull out your tweezers and do some fussing with your bow, and then use a glue dot to hold that bow in place if you want. Just going to kind of scrunch up my glue dot so it doesn't show, and just stick that on. And then I will just trim my tails a little bit because I definitely have them not the same length. There we go. All right, so I've got a bow. And then the last thing I want to put on the front is some of these. These are my favorite of the new embellishments. These are the in color matte dots, decorative matte dots. And I have literally used all of my Sweet Sorbet except I think I just found one. So I'm going to use Parakeet Party on here. So I'm just going to put some of these Parakeet Party decorative dots. Now let's do the inside. So I've cut a piece of basic white cardstock. If you're going to stamp a sentiment, make sure it's right in the middle so that it's hidden. Well, it'll be hidden, but you want it kind of right behind this middle flap. But I also cut 2 more flaps. So these are again 1 inch by 4 inches. So they're going to go top to bottom. And I just thought it would be nice to put them on each side of the inside. Always decorate the inside in some way. So we're going to put these right up against, lined up against top and bottom and each edge. This paper is so pretty. You could use almost, oh my gosh, so many colors. It's got petal pink in it. It's got some blues. So it would go lovely with Night of Navy. Petal pink and Night of Navy would be beautiful. And it's got soft suede. So now this, oops, that didn't go on there very straight. Ah, there we go. One of the good things about liquid glue is you've got a little bit of time to wiggle things into place. Okay, now, so this is for the inside of the card. Let's get it not upside down. That would be a good thing. All right, there we go. So I'm not going to put a sentiment in there, but I have decorated my card and I've got a bit of adhesive in there. Let's wipe that off. All right. So when your card sits, it sits like this, and this front flap kind of just folds. It's just kind of a bit of a nice, I don't know. I love this fold. This is one of my favorite. I think this is my favorite of my fancy folds, or of the fancy folds that I do. All right, so there's the card. It's a spanner fold card featuring the Ringed with Nature bundle and the Rings of Love designer series paper that you can get for free. All right, back there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Try these spanner fold cards. You might be hooked like I am, and I make a lot of them, and it's so easy to do and just so much fun, depending on what the set of dies is that you can use to put across that spanner, or I guess, yeah. So, okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Try it out. If you make some cards, share them on my Facebook group. I'd love to see what you create. Every month, I send some happy mail to people who've shared on my Facebook group, so you might be getting some happy mail for sharing your cards at the end of the month. So it's not quite, well, we're just over halfway through July. Doesn't feel like July here. I think I said it was raining. I actually put socks on a little while ago because my feet were cold, and that just feels so wrong in July. All right, everybody. I will be back live on Tuesday night with my sketch challenge at 6:30 Pacific, and then again on Thursday night at 6:30 Pacific with a mystery challenge. And the clue for the mystery challenge will be posted earlier that morning. So I hope you'll join me through the week. Hope you have a great week, and happy stamping. Thanks, everybody. Bye.